What up brothers, it's Clipper King returning for a new review for my channel on the figure you see in front of you. As we all know, it's the Hot Toys Guardians of the Galaxy Gamora figure. I received this figure yesterday direct from Hong Kong and did a really quick unboxing. Really basic, just showing me unpackaging it, and I just wanted to get some basic video footage up because this figure's had a mixed bag of opinions. Some are saying it's ultra realistic, some are saying the expression's all wrong. There's been opinions everywhere, Facebook, Sideshow Freaks, and I think if I can just get some HD footage under normal lighting, I don't want to use the Uber lighting that other reviewers use, I just want to show you, as you see in my video, is as it will more than likely appear in your collection. So I know some do look forward to the video reviews for that reason, and that is what I wanted to do. I'm going to do the full review tonight. I'm going to score it up and tell you my opinion on it. So I think what we'll do, we'll crack straight on and talk about the source material. Before we do that, I'll just give you a look up and down the figure just to show you the initial pose I've gone for. Pretty relaxed, pretty much straight out of the box. Slight bend in one of the knees. You see she's holding the extended sword on the new style Marvel base from Hot Toys. So yep, pretty simple. And I will also say at this point, the hair has been styled. When it comes out of the box, it's quite frizzy, particularly on the hair, on the ends. It does bunch up quite a bit. If you read the instructions, it does tell you there is product in it, but it also tells you that you can add more to your taste. So I have sort of washed the static out of it, just with lukewarm water, let it dry off naturally, and then put some gel through it. So just bear that in mind also that I have done that. Right, let's crack on and talk source material. I will say I have only watched Guardians of the Galaxy once, and this is the only Marvel film that's been released that I didn't go to pictures to see. Simply because I were honest about it. I didn't know anything about the Guardians of the Galaxy before the film was announced. Not a comic I've ever known. I didn't go Marvel friends and say, oh yeah, I know it, I've been reading it for years, because the honest truth is I didn't know any of the characters, I didn't know what they related to, I didn't even understand why they were bringing them into the Marvel universe. Although I will say I now know why. It's the perfect way to bring Thanos to Earth. That's the way I see it. And I will say I did enjoy the film, but I will also say I didn't go batshit crazy like a lot of others did and say it was best film in the last 10 years, because I didn't believe that. It was just average run-of-the-mill Marvel film for me. There were some really funny moments in it, particularly Batista as Drax. I think the taking everything literally, I think it was a really good spin, and his parts in particular I did find very funny because it was very much my humour. So there were lots of things to like. Obviously the special effects are going to be amazing. Everything is nowadays. The story was pretty good. The soundtrack was amazing. But I just saw it as an introduction movie, if that makes sense. It's showing as a team that they pretty much took a chance on, and it was, I think, Marvel's first dipping the toe in to doing a license that everybody's not known since their childhood. So yeah, I did enjoy it, but like I say, I don't think it's Oscar worthy by any stretch, and I don't think it's going to be a classic movie that we're talking about in 15, 20 years time. So I'm going to do, I think, the fairest thing. And I will also say, while I'm doing the source material, I don't think Gamora was the best character in it. In fact, I think she was my least favourite Guardian. So I will make that point clear. Although, I will do what I'm probably going to do for all the Guardians that I review and give the source material a 3 out of 5. Rolling onto the packaging, and I'll do this really quickly. This is not a great deal to see, if I'm honest. Starting off at the top, you see the Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. Moving down, we have a capital letter G with the pink neon. Really nice, eye-catching graphics, I will say. It is a film shot of Gamora. As we move down, she's looking very sexy. Moving down, we see the MMS serial number, which is 259, I think it says. And Gamora, again, in pink neon lettering. Looks really good, really eye-catching. Do like the box artwork. You see the MMS symbol and obviously the Hot Toys symbol, which everybody always shows, and I don't know why. I'm not even going to turn the box to the side because there's nothing to see. There's only the choke hazard warnings on the back and the cast to put any work in, so it's not worth showing you that. Nothing you haven't seen before. So I don't know, it is just a slipcover. The cardboard is average. It screams middle of the road, so I am going to score it a 3 out of 5. I will just show you, obviously on the top, We get the Guardians of the Galaxy as well. I would think that when you get all 5 boxes, they are all going to be uniform to each other, which is nice. And I don't know, I think it needs to be that way because it is pretty much this year's Avengers setup. So the box is what the box is, basically. Like I said, I've given it a 3 out of 5. Rolling on to the likeness, and I will first off nail my colours to the mast and say the early bloggers' photos from Hong Kong that I saw, I thought this was the category that would easily score 5 out of 5. There were some of the photos where I had to look twice, if I'm honest, between is that the figure or is that a screenshot. Obviously, as an experienced Hot Toys collector, you know the things to look for when you're looking at the head sculpt, so to speak. So on a rooted hair figure, you'd be looking for the dividing line between the sculpt and the hair. I will say in hand, they've masked that really well. I think because of the style of the hair with the centre parting and it's sort of coming down sort of the sides of the face, it covers up where the plugged hair starts. So I think they've done that really nicely. I also think they've really captured Zoe Saldana, the actress who plays Gamora. And doing some background work, I didn't realise that it's the same actress who did the facial capture and the voice for Neytiri from Avatar as well. I didn't realise that. I will also say as well at this point, and particularly this shot that I've got here, the more I look at it, I see Rihanna in there as well. So I don't know, I'm sort of caught between, is it accurate or is it not? But I will say the fact that it's got real hair and then moving away you see the jointless arms, I think it is one of Hot Toys' most realistic looking figures. And obviously some people have seen it in photos and I'll disagree with that, but I would just say to them, please wait until you see it in hand, because when the light catches it, it does look really realistic. The eyes are full of life. In fact, I'm going to get extreme close here. Let me even get my camera off my hand. So let's get him. Please make sure you watch these videos in 720 because you should get a really good shot of everything you need to see, even down to the fine hairs. Look at the light in the eyes. I'm trying to get it from all the angles. Some will say use a tripod. I don't want to do that. You see the fine silver lining, the sort of facial tattoos or scars. Yeah, I think they've done a really, really good job. And like I said, the fact that they've kept the hair really fine, they've mixed the red through the black. You can style it, and like I said, it does recommend you do style it to your taste. If I were to move this round, obviously I've got to watch the sword coming round. You see the kinks I've put through her hair. It's not fell like that by accident. It takes some styling. Like I say, quite fuzzy out the box, but you put some gel through it or wash some of the static out or something like an hair serum to make it a lot it feels slightly greasy, but it does separate the hair and makes the hair look really, really natural. Yeah, just wanted to show you that. Sorry for the sound of the figure turning, but I've got no batteries for my turntable, so I had to do that. So yeah, I do really like the head sculpt, and I've tried to sort of sympathise with the people who are saying the expression's wrong. Like I said, I disagree. I think the expression is right. I think they could have used the smirking head from the front cover of the box as a secondary head, but I'm glad they didn't do that as the primary head sculpt, because I think you stand that in a fight pose and it looks a little bit goofy, or you stand it with your team and if none of the other team are smiling, then I think it just wouldn't have fit. So I'm glad they did put this sculpt in. Another sculpt would have been very, very nice. But I'm going to be honest and tell you my thoughts and tell you I've given it a very, very easy 5 out of 5. She is fucking beautiful. Before I cut away from that altogether, because I do quite like the pose, I've got her pretty much as if she's creeping forward, stealth style. I've got this sword out, or the extended sword at arm's length, and then the back arm out, so she's ready for action. I do like that pose, and I really wish my turntable were working, because I think that pose would look nice rotating. But yeah, just wanted to show it before we move on to the next category. Rolling on to the outfit, and at first glance you would think, well, it's pretty simple. It's pretty much just a vest and trouser setup with then the gauntlets on and a pair of boots. And you'd be right to an extent, but what I will say is, although it's nothing too complex, what they've done is really good work. And I'll start off and show you the vest section. The collar with the sort of silver sequin makeup here is a quite hard plastic, so it stays in position really well and does attach to this collar section here. Again, it is quite hard, so there'd be no movement there if the head sat lower, if that makes sense. It would be restrictive, but because the head is on quite a long neck joint, there's no restriction there. You see the panel section across the shoulders. Again, subtle detail, but really nicely done. Moving down, you see the navy blue faux leather sections sort of down the chest with the then the fabric lining. Moving into the net or the lacy panel down the front, which is quite sexual looking. You see as well inside the strappage that sort of looks like a bra or some kind of harness holding them lovely gold tits in place. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Same on the side, get the netting or the lace effect, and it looks really nice. You would think it's just a vest tucked into trousers, but it's not. It's all one piece. And again, it moves on the same theme with the navy looking panels down the front, the faux leather with the really reflective neon looking blue patterns on the front. The strapping on the upper leg is a soft rubber, so sometimes it falls down, but it's just a matter of keep pushing it back up into place, and that's on that leg and also that leg. Moving further down the legs, it goes to like a padded section and like a break in the pleather effect, and then it goes into this, which feels more like, this is more rubbery, this section along the knees. They look kind of like motorcycle pants. That's the look it is. And like I said, because of that sections there, the knee articulation is still pretty good. Talking about articulation, these boots, which are pretty high boots, as you can see, they're a total articulation killer. It is all one part, and it is really, really hard sculpt. So you're not going to get much movement. It will rotate, obviously, on the ankle peg, but you're not going to get no pivot, swivel, anything like that. Toe up, like dip and rise through there. It is a really, really hard part. But I think because it looks so good and it looks so accurate, I can kind of forgive that, because the pose I've gone for, if you can make the allowances for the fact that your boots do restrict your ankles, then it's not really going to bother you. Moving up to the arms, they have this soft rubber gauntlet section, which is sculpted to look like it's all laced together. Again, the neon looking blue going round it, as you can see, and because of the sort of the cut of the sculpt, it does come nicely over her wrist joints. Again, the things that would give away that this is a figure are really well covered on this. So like I said before, the rooted hair, the seamless arms, the joint in the shoulder is covered by the costume. There's no ab crunch, and I will show you the neck is really soft as well. So everything that would give away that this is a figure at first glance, they have covered really nicely. Like I said, the outfit is pretty simple, so I can't go mental and give it a 5 out of 5, but everything they've done really, really well. So I am going to give it, I will also show you this before I move on. The sword, when it's folded down, does fit in this holster at the side. It's also, you just sort of curl it in, and it's held in place with this sort of prong here and this one here. It does sit in rather nicely. So yeah, another nice touch, and that is just sculpted on. The other thing with this is, I can't find anywhere, you know, sometimes you get these little straps breaking or little niggly things that don't sit right or everything. There's nothing like that on this. It's pretty simplistic in that way. So yeah, no real nitpicks. The only reason I've took a point off is because the boots are a little bit too hard, if I'm honest, and it is not that complex an outfit. So I am going to give the outfit a 4 out of 5. Rolling on to the articulation, and I'm going to do a full demonstration because there's a few things on this figure that I've not quite seen before. I've seen similar, but not quite like this. So we'll start off at the bad points. Like I said when I was talking about the outfit, let's just raise it up a little bit. The ankle articulation limited because of the boots. You're not going to get no movement basically. All you would get is rotation if you turn the complete boot. So that would be the only articulation you would get. The knees do articulate This is a strap that falls down, you just push it back up. Good articulation on the knee. I won't get the shot. So yeah, that is a nice touch. Back down. Turn around. The upper legs will only kick forward to somewhere there because of the restriction of the upper trouser and split out to there. If you were doing it both, be careful. You don't want to have your suit back, and like I said, back and forward. Quite good, not amazing. Let's just say it like that. Now, it's the upper body that really is good on this. And I will say, better than I expected. I'm thinking rubberized arms, never worked that well, restricted. I will say, this one is a touch above everything I've seen before. I'll start off, I think, because now I can hold her. Let's get that out of the way. The ab section, there's no visible joint inside, but the upper body all feels like a rubberized body with a wire armature inside. So you can crunch her forward, you can tilt her back, and she does hold it, which is nice. All the upper body is really squidgy, so I'm talking stomach, the belly button you see in there, really nicely sculpted. Don't really like touching her up, but I will do it for your sake. Another touch that is really, really good, that is the neck straight upright. The neck will push forward to there, and then obviously on top of that you've still got the ball joint in the top of the head. Then you can move the neck really far back. This, like where my finger is, let's have a look, is all really soft, pliable rubber, really nice. So that pretty much blew my mind because I weren't expecting it. I was thinking a Hulk type setup, so like a rubber sort of scheme on top of a frame that don't really do what you want it to do. And then I tried the arms. As you can see, there's no visible joints on the arms. Obviously there is an hand peg in there, the hands do move normal. At the shoulder you can up and down, forward and back, you can see. So there is a ball joint inside, good range of motion inside. This is the part I really like. We'll bend the arm, we'll go to there, which is a lot better than Robin's did, which I reviewed last night, and Robin had a stupid fucking joint. This keeps it looking real. The other thing that I've not seen before is this. Listen. Ratchet effect. And let me just straighten it down. The ratchet is somewhere inside here. So let me try it again. Put these on. Put on. Listen. So if you wanted a sword two-handed, it would still do it, which is really good, I think, for rubberized arms and an upper body. Look at that. That is good articulation for a figure that has no visible joints. A lot better than the Entebbe Bruce Lee, which I saw. Really, really good. I've got to give massive praise to Hot Toys on the articulation. So upper body wise, she is absolutely amazing. Lower takes in it, but because of the restrictions of the boots and the tightness of the upper trouser. So what do I get? I think I can't get full points because it won't do every move, like I said, down to the outfit. But the fact that it's still got an ab crunch, though you don't see it, the arms are amazing, the neck is amazing, and like I said, the sculpt on the upper body is really, really good. So I've got to give it a really strong 4 out of 5. Rolling on to extras, and you probably know because you've seen what she brings, this is where she takes a nosedive. I'll show you the pose first. Just wanted to show that her arms would hold the sword two-handed, and I have got her on the new Goblin stand. It allows me to show you the other stand that she brings. So let's start off. First and foremost, the biggest of the accessories is the extended version of the sword. As you can see, the carving on it and the paintwork is really, really good. It splits away at the top, really nice. I would say be very careful with it because I get a feeling that it's very fragile. Sort of the small blade on the front, as you can see here, and also the fact that it does split at the top here. Be careful because it could be an easy break. Looking down, you then have the folded down version, which does fit into the holster as I showed. Again, really nice sculpt on it, really nice paintwork. set of the small female hand pegs, which are green, obviously. You might be needing those because they are really, really fragile. Luckily, I've not broke one on this, but that's more down to the fact that the hands are really nice and supple, and they're not that hard to get on. So yeah, really good touch. Just bring a set of sword holding hands. Again, really nice sculpt. You see the silver rings all around the fingers, and the hands do match the skin tone really nicely. So you get the sword holding ones, the fisted ones, and the relaxed ones, which I wish there were about 4 more sort of posed ones. So if you were holding the sword one-handed, a sort of kung fu style hands or gesturing hands or whatever you want to call them. I just wish there were a few more, because I said, fucking I can't get my words out. As I've said before, the less or the little amount of hands you get, it limits your pose options. So yeah, I wish they'd put some more in. The instruction manual, definitely worth a read because of the rubberized body, and shows you how to move the head on the neck and so on and so forth, how to put this small blade into the holster, that sort of thing. Worth a read because you don't want to break a figure at this price range. And then the new item that I've not seen before is the new style Marvel display base. I will say, when I first saw it, I thought it was just like a black piece of plastic with a paper, just a paper print put down on it. It's not. It feels really, really thick and really durable. Nice paintwork on it. Obviously, it's like the inside of the spacecraft, and I would think when you've got them all, they would all fit together because they're pretty much your hexagon style shape. So yeah, nameplate at the front, Guardians of the Galaxy Gamora. Yeah, really, really nice touch. And the fact that it's a little bit bigger than a generic stand means you can spread her legs more, which means you will allow for better poses. So I do like that. What else could she have brought? Like I said, a few more hands would have been nice. It's always the case. Failing to change her outfit, because I think we are going to see probably other versions with them in the red matching outfits that they have towards the end of the film. Another head sculpt could have been nice, although it would have been a lot to ask, especially when it's the rooted hair and probably is the most expensive part of this figure. So I might have been asking a lot. And bearing in mind this figure comes in at about £335 in the UK, I think what you get for that price point is probably acceptable. But like I said, I always review the figure that I've received, so I know the price I paid for this. So on the extras, I'm going to give her a little smack on the bum bum and say I'm giving her a 3 out of 5. Rolling on to the value, and before we start with that, let's just show you the pose. Just got her back turned with the sword behind her, just so you can see them sexy butt cheeks that she's rocking. Oh, get the boots and all. Peter Quill, you jammy bastard. Anyway, value. I will say you pretty much know I've paid high for this because you saw the price at start week. I think the cheapest on release day was about £185. That was shipped to UK with 4-day shipping, and within about 3 or 4 hours they'd sold out and the price went to like £195, £205, £215. At the point when I started this review, the cheapest one on eBay, and I'm talking about in-hand stock, so if you wanted to buy this now after watching this review, you will be looking at £225 shipped to England, and that is fact because I've just looked at it. There's a few like good shipped and a few others who are around the 180 mark. Them figures are not in stock yet, so that is what you're going to be paying if you want this figure anytime this week. I will say Wyman at 16 Brew stocks it for about 135, I think, which I think is round about the correct price for a figure like this. It's only the fact that I review these figures that I have to buy them early. If I were to buy this from Wyman in a month or 2 or 3's time, nobody would watch the review. That's the harsh facts of it. So people are, I don't know, give me shit over the last few weeks about condoning buying from Hong Kong. I'm not saying everybody buy from Hong Kong. What I'm saying is the reason I buy from Hong Kong is I need it to keep me viewing figures up so I can keep affording to buy these figures to review. And to be honest, I don't need the review for me because I've got them in my collection. The review is for you guys to see. So if you want to slag me off for doing something to show you guys it, then I don't really understand it. But that is the fact of it. I think at 185, if you would have pressed that button quick, I think it's still overpriced, well overpriced as well, if I'm being honest. But the fact of the matter is, we all know the game. Some of us want to play it and some of us don't. And I will say this, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 for value because I think I've overpaid for this figure. And I think anybody who bought early this week's overpaid for this figure. But I'm also going to say this figure will be going into the Facebook trading group, so failing that onto eBay, and I guarantee I'll get 10 messages of somebody wanting to buy it. So if the figure's that overpriced, then maybe I don't know. But some people want it now and they don't mind paying for it. So I'll say it like that. I did buy this figure to review and move on. That is still the intention. If you're interested, let me know. But I'm not saving for anybody this time because I've done it in past, and again I've got shit for it. So it will simply go to the highest bidder I get through Facebook. Failing that, I'll put it onto eBay and put a massive buy it now price on, but then I'll listen to offers through PayPal. So that is my intentions. Like I said, on the value, I've given it a 3 out of 5. I will say, if you've been keeping score, you'll know that Gamora has got 25 out of a possible 35. I think she's probably the best female figure that I've reviewed, and that's not a massive amount because I only did the Black Widow, which were really nice, the Catwoman, which were even better, and then this one is better still. None of them come with massive amount of extras, but this one, body-wise and outfit-wise, is a step above Black Widow and Catwoman. So there you go, you've had my honest opinion. I don't think that review's been as long as my normal reviews, but I hope I have told you everything that you wanted to know. So for now, it's the Clipper King Brothers, and I'm out of here.